Jinni and Naznain. When Lord Shahryar saw these things, reason escaped from her seat in his psyche, and he told his sibling Shah Zaman, "Let us go subsequently and charge forward to look for our predetermination upon the street of Allah, for we have no right in sovereignty, nor will have, until we have found somebody who has met a destiny like our own. Without that, in truth, passing would be preferable over our lives." To this his sibling made the fitting response, and both went out by a mysterious entryway of the palace. They voyaged night and day until they came to a tree in a desolate glade close to the salt ocean. In this glade there was an islet of new water at which they drank and subsequently plunked down to rest. An hour had scarcely passed when the ocean started to be disturbed, and unexpectedly a segment of dark smoke came up out of it, which rose to the sky and moved towards the knoll. Seeing this, they became apprehensive and moved as high as they had the option into the tall tree, and started to consider what this could mean. Then, observe. The smoke section changed to a Jinni of extraordinary size, huge carried, massively breasted, and carrying on his head a case. He put foot to the earth, came towards the tree where they were, and halted underneath it. Then he lifted the top of the container and took from it an enormous money vault, which he additionally opened, and immediately seemed a positive little kid, brilliant in her magnificence, sparkling like the sun. As the writer says, "She comes, a light in the shadows, and it is day, her light more splendidly lights the daybreak. Suns jump from out her excellence. Furthermore, moons are brought into the world in the grinning of her eyes. Okay, that the shroud of her secret may be lease, and the people of the world untruth violated at her feet. Constrained by the incredible light of her sweet-looking wet tears savvy forward from each watching eye." At the point when the Jinni had taken a gander at the magnificence of the young lady, he shared with her, "O sovereign of each and every luxurious thing! O you whom I violated away upon your marriage night! I would rest a bit." And the Jinni, resting his head upon the knees of the little kid, nodded off. Then the kid raised her head and saw the two lords concealed in the tree top. At once she lifted the top of the Jinni from her knees, rested it upon the ground, and stood up underneath the tree, telling them by signs, "Descend. Have no feeling of dread toward this Ifrit." They likewise replied by signs, "Allah accompany you. Ask excuse us from such a perilous endeavor." She said, "I summon you by Allah. Descend rapidly, or I will caution the Ifrit and he will kill you with the most awful of passings." Then, at that point, they were apprehensive and descended adjacent to her, and she said immediately, "Come, pierce me brutally with your spears, in the event that not, I will wake the Ifrit." Shahryar expressed dreadfully to Shah Zaman, "You, my sibling, do first what she requires." To which the other replied, "I will not do anything until you have given me an example, my senior sibling." And each started to persuade the other, making with their eyes tokens of coupling. Then she said, "For what reason do I see you working your eyes along these lines? On the off chance that you don't approach and do it to me without a moment's delay, I will wake the Ifrit." Thus, in their anxiety toward the Jinni, the two of them did to her as she had directed, and when they were very much wearied, she said, "You are for sure experienced riders." Then, at that point, drawing from her pocket a little sack, she took from it a jewelry of 570 seal rings, saying, "Know you what these are?" And they replied, "We don't have the foggiest idea." Then, at that point, she said, "The providers of these seal rings have all combined with me on the accidental horns of this Ifrit. So presently, O siblings, give me yours." Then they gave her their seal rings, taking them off their hands. Whereon she said, "Know that this Ifrit took me away the evening of my marriage, prisoned me in a cash safe and put that money vault in a crate and secured about the container 7 chains, indeed, and afterward laid me at the lower part of the groaning ocean that conflicts and runs with its waves." However, he didn't have the foggiest idea about that. At whatever point any of us ladies wants a thing, nothing can keep her from it. Furthermore, the artist said, "Other than companion, trust not the slightest bit in that frame of mind, at their promising, for they lower or they love at the whim of their parts. Filled to the mouth with misleading, they sumptuous a lying love even while the very floss bordering their silks is shifty." Regard and recall the words of Y*Suf. Disregard not idly worked all Adam's misfortune with one lady. Rail not, my friend. At this house, at whom you are railing, delicate love tomorrow will give spot to free for all. Say not, if I love, I'll move away from the careless activities of valuing. Anyway rather, just a miracle brings a man safeguarded from among them. At these words the siblings wondered even to the furthest reaches of wondering and shared with one another, on the off chance that this be a Jinni and regardless of his power significantly more horrible things have happened to him than to us, it is an undertaking which should support us. So at that very hour they left the young lady and restored each to his own city. When Lord Shahryar entered his royal residence, he made his significant other's head be cut off at the neck, and similarly the tops of the slaves, the 2 men and women. Then he requested his wazir to present to him consistently a youthful and virgin young lady, whom he violated and, when the night had passed, caused to be slain. This he accomplished for 3 long years, so individuals were each of the one cry of despondency, one tumult of horror. They escaped away with so much little girls as stayed to them, and in all the city there stayed not one young lady who held the state to serve for this attack. Finally the ruler, similar to his exceptionally, requested the wazir to present to him a little kid, and the wazir went forward and chased, yet tracked down no young lady by any means. So he got back to his own home, blue and pathetic. What's more, with his spirit loaded with his anxiety toward the ruler. Presently this wazir had himself 2 girls who in the issues of magnificence, enchant, splendor, flawlessness, and sensitive taste, were each unmatched save by the other. The name of the senior was Shahrazad, and that of the more youthful Dunyazad. Shahrazad had perused the books, the chronicles, and the legends of old lords, along with the narratives of past peoples. Also she was credited with having 1,000 books of stories recounting the people groups, the rulers, and the artists of days of yore and of previous time. She was pleasantly persuasive of discourse, and to pay attention to her was music. When she had seen her dad, she said, "For what reason do I see you so bowed and changed with care and distress?" "No, my dad, that the writer says, thou who workmanship miserable, gracious be support, in vain perseveres, and as each delight evaporates away so likewise disappears each distress." At the point when the wazir heard these words, he advised his little girl from start to finish everything that had happened concerning the king. Then Shahrazad said, "By Allah, father, you should wed me to this lord, for possibly I will live, or, biting the dust, I will be a payoff for the little girls of the Mussulmans and the reason for their liberation out of the hands of the ruler." Then said he, "Allah be with you, you won't ever open yourself to such a risk." And she replied, "It is essential that I do this." So he shared with her, "Take care that the destiny of the ass with the bull and the farmer come to pass for not you too." Tune in.